Hey, everybody, welcome. I'm Natalie, and this is Scientology Life After a Cult. Dun, dun, dun. I'm still playing around with new intros. I don't know if I want one, how I want to do it. So, if any of you have any great ideas, Natalie at lifeafteracult.com. Let me know because I'm figuring it out. Thank you, everybody, for being here. In today's Culty Recap, we're going to talk about how there's a strange legal push for no contact with Aaron Smith-Levin. Meanwhile, Mike Rinder's dying wish continues to be a huge thorn in the butt of one David Miscavige in Scientology. We're going to talk about that because it is so lovely, so lovely. We're also going to talk about how Scientology Audit treats LA William Gude. He just dropped a video with a message on how to better bring together the Los Angeles protest community. Talk a little bit about that and some other stuff on today's Culty Recap. Hello, everybody. Thank you to the moderators for being here and your help. It is Aloha Friday, y'all. So you know what that means. Aloha is in the chat. Now, I know it's like that every day, but especially on Aloha Friday. Look, I'm even wearing a bright color, which really makes Nancy happy. I tend to want to wear darker colors, but I'm you know what? I have to skip forward to spring because I just can't take this Minnesota winter anymore. So I'm going to try and bring the bright colors there. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Liz, Gale, good morning. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you to the members for being here. Thank you to all of you in the live chat. If you're on the replay, hello and aloha to you on this Aloha Friday. We got a lot of fun things to go through. We have a lot of things to talk about. And it is Aloha Friday. Hey, Kenny. So I'm super excited about it. I took a little bit of time off in the morning yesterday. I didn't do a recap. It was so needed. Girl, I had to catch up on things like my laundry, getting food in the house so I don't food poison myself because I actually did food poison myself. So it turns out those sell by expiration dates on dairy, that's no joke. You shouldn't mess with that. If it tells you a date, they mean it. Trust me, I tested the theory recently. Twice. But now I have new cottage cheese and sour cream because I actually went to the grocery store. So enough about me, y'all. Let's get to this. Let's jump in and talk first about Power Lies to Paralyze. Power Lies to Paralyze. Did an awesome video, and we're going to jump in kind of towards the end because he really lays out what was up really with L. Ron Hubbard at the end. You know what I'm saying? Like it's great. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. For any of you who've wondered, what was L. Ron Hubbard like at the end of his life? Because Scientologists, I remember when he died, and we all went to the event. I was, January 86. I was 15. And it was like he just discarded the body so he could go off to Target 2 so he could continue his research because his body was an impediment. Is that the right word? Impediment. Impediment. Yes. At least that's what they wanted us to believe. But listen to this, y'all.
In addition to the neurological damage caused by low-frequency entrainment, Hubbard's psychological decline was worsened by his self-imposed isolation.
And that's so true. He was totally in a self-imposed isolation, hiding from those process servers. Yep. I mean, really, why does somebody go into isolation when you think about it, right? If you are the leader of the fastest growing religion on the planet, why are you in hiding? And what are you in hiding from? As a Scientologist back in the day, we were told that he was researching the upper levels, and that's why he was off the lines of the organization, and it was being run by other people. So we were given this whole narrative.
Fabricated belief system. Over decades, the combined effects of chronic stress, disrupted brainwave patterns, and the lack of restorative sleep likely impaired his brain's ability to regulate fear and anxiety.
I thought that was so telling too, because people who were connected to L. Ron Hubbard at that time have all kind of come forward and said, he was very paranoid. Like there was a lot of paranoia. So when you think about the lack of sleep, he had had a stroke at some point, the amount of things going on, it totally makes sense that this was the case here. It says by the time of his death, Hubbard's mental state was marked by a full-blown paranoia and delusions, the inevitable result of decades of self-inflicted neurological manipulation. Himself in Scientology practices, Hubbard unknowingly engineered his own mental unraveling. I'm gonna link it down below. You guys got to see the whole thing. There's so much more to it. So much more to it. And it helps me as a former Scientologist look at this and go, oh my gosh, that's right. That was the truth. It's like when I spoke to John Atack, who wrote, Let's Sell Them a Piece of Blue Sky. I interviewed him the other day, and he's coming on next week, by the way, because we did not get to so many questions. The state that L. Ron Hubbard was actually in, finding out the truth about that feels so freeing for me. Irina, I'm glad you're here. My former Scientology friend. Doesn't it feel like the more we learned about L. Ron Hubbard, the truth about who he was, what led up to him discovering and creating Scientology and Dianetics, and his own mental state after years of getting rid of body thetans and all of that, finding out the truth for me, and I want to hear from you guys too, has been one of the more freeing things. It's like, pulling back the curtain and seeing who Oz really is. It has helped so much in my recovery because I feel like I'm able to let go of so much more, understanding the truth about that. But I really I would love to hear your guys' opinions on that as well. And aloha to everybody coming in. Please head over and hit that like button, y'all. It is Aloha Friday. Let's show it lots of aloha and go ahead and check your subscribe and hit your subscribe as well. Now let's go take a look at an interview. Deanna Ross was on the channel a few weeks ago. I did an interview with her. It was amazing. She shared her history of the early days of being on a ship with L. Ron Hubbard. Speaking of crazy, L. Ron Hubbard definitely had his issues then. It wasn't even the end of his life where he just kind of lost it. It was earlier. No one, aloha to you. So she did an interview recently at Peeling the Onion and shared a lot of you people. Well, I think everybody, even people never in Scientology, but all in on ending this cult, will appreciate this video because there's images and photos I've never seen before from back in the day. So I'm just going to share a quick clip of that and I'm going to link it down below so that y'all can check it out.
See that little small building?
Yeah.
Yes. Those were little auditing rooms. Do you remember that, Janice?
And it's so interesting to hear Janice and Deanna talk, because Janice was on the ship too, about like where they used to do auditing and stuff on the grounds.
No, those weren't there when I was there.
Huh. So maybe that was temporarily.
Yeah.
While something was being built.
Well, they were building the quad and reception and the chapel.
So between the two of them, they give so much history there and photos and images from back in the day. So I'm going to link it down below after this. It is a great history of some early Scientology stuff. Hey, Robin Miners, good to see you. Asen, I see you. Mock, aloha, everybody. Irina Posner says, well, for me, Hubbard, more the guy from the picture on the wall, more Lord Nelson than Boris Johnson, more Lenin than Vladimir Putin. Pardon the comparisons. Thanks for sharing that, Irina. I always appreciate your input and your point of view here. Sandy McKenna, thank you for welcoming people with aloha on this wonderful Aloha Friday. Now, let's go check out a video. So this is posted over on MD Media 18's page where he shared a look like somebody caught, I think it was SP Neverin that took this video. Then MD Media put it together and put it up on his channel of the volunteer. You know what? We got to wake up Osa for this because you know. David Miscavige, if you could both come together and wake up your Office of Special Affairs on this Aloha Friday, because we got some stuff to talk about. Hello, Office of Special Affairs. Welcome to the Aloha Friday version of Scientology Life After a Cult. Ooh, we got some stuff to talk about, starting with this video of catching the volunteer ministers in the act of actually doing a photo op and not actually cleaning something up and finishing it. Let's take a look at this here. Watch this, you guys. So you see, they did this. They just did this for a photo op. So you see 1, 2, and it looks like they're picking up debris, right? So they must have stayed, gotten all the debris picked up, I'm assuming, right? Got it all. Oh, no. They leave. And after 3 days later, the stuff's still there. What? It's still there? But they were there picking it up. What? What kind of propaganda is this? Wait, but they're there cleaning it. The volunteer ministers are there, right? What? What is happening? What is happening, Office of Special Affairs? Tell me. I don't understand. I'm very perplexed because we keep seeing video after video coming out of the California fires, the devastating California fires where people have lost their lives, showing the Scientology volunteer ministers / vulture ministers, which, by the way, you can go to T's channel, which I think she just changed the name. Now it's T, A Voice Down Under. Do I have that right? T, if you're here, let me know. She's got those vulture minister shirts, which we shared a pic of that yesterday. Just absolutely hilarious. You might want to check that out, but Office of Special Affairs, I don't know. Open line here. I mean, you know how to email me, right? I just feel like maybe you could clue us in on what's happening. What the hell is that? Oh, the hotline. Scientology Life After a Cult. Oh, yes. I was just talking about you. Oh, you're watching. Okay. Well, no. Well, you do culty things. I'm going to talk about it. That's how this works. No. We just saw the video. What do you mean you're not doing photo ops? No, look, here's the deal. You know how to reach me. If you want to leave, many of us will help you. Those of you in the Office of Special Affairs. It's Aloha Friday. I feel like it's just a... No. David Miscavige is not tapping my phone. No. Yeah, exactly. One hand, you guys don't know what the other guys are doing. You can't keep it all straight. I know, that's what I'm saying. Well, just keep watching my channel. Yeah. No, I know it's your job. Well, exactly. No, I don't get into all that. You're right. Well, yeah, no, if you want to turn whistleblower and you want to share information, yeah, no, I can totally keep it confidential. Can I say that you work for OSA? Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just saying. No, we'll totally, yeah. I will keep talking about it. We're going to keep sharing it. The truth is coming out. Oh, well, please, I've been around. I've been out of Scientology for 15 years. I know how OSA trolling works. Yeah, of course you guys have been doing that. Oh, but doubling down. You brought in extra volunteers to troll people on the internet to try and discredit people exposing Scientology. Well, I mean, yeah, we knew you were doing that. I read the manual. Yeah, exactly. No, we'll keep an eye on it. No, I'm not going to fall into that trap. But I heard that you guys came out with some good ones recently, even about me. You're getting creative. I know. Okay. I got to get back to my live stream, but keep watching. You can call me anytime. I agree. Aloha. Yep. You too. Okay. Yeah. All right. It's like the Minnesota goodbye. Yeah. Okay. You too. Bye-bye. Onward and upward. Oh, well, I guess we're getting some extra dish from the Office of Special Affairs there. Yeah, so they're following the manual. They just want us to know they're going to double down on their trolling efforts and that we should keep an eye out for that. I feel like this person has one foot out the door, though, because they're totally not, I feel like they're trying to give the true tea, but, want to act like they're still totally on the Office of Special Affairs side. I don't know. I'm just saying I'm here for it. Okay, y'all, I missed something the other day. Well, probably because I took the morning off yesterday. And I need to reach out to her. Every time I pick up my phone this morning, I'm like, oh, it's too early in California. Diane, our friend Diane, more fun than sitting at home. Did you guys see? We got to look at this quick because it has to do with the fires. more fun than sitting at home. Our friend Diane, she shared a look at the fires, the recent fire that broke out by her house. I want to put this on your radar so that, we can all send some positive thoughts and stuff to Diane and her husband, Jack, there. But take a look at this, what Diane shared.
And along with huge pieces, now we've got wind again, along with huge pieces of ash, huge pieces. They're like feather size. It's absolutely crazy. So I just wanted to update you guys. Even my roof, it's just got crazy. So at one point it was so dark that all of my lights came on up here. All of my lights were on. So it's lightened up quite a bit. I did hear that the fire was about 5,000 acres. So I'm going to go back in and listen to the news. If you want to go on YouTube, Fox 11 News Los Angeles has.
I'll link it down below so you can see her whole video. But I had no idea Diane was so close to the fires. And then this morning I was like, I need to call her. And I'm like, ooh, it's 5 o'clock in the morning in LA. Probably not a good idea. But yeah, exactly. Cubana Chica, Diane and Jack and Diane, just lovely people. I don't know if I ever shared this with you guys. Diane's husband, Jack, made the most beautiful board for my Tony. And we got it after he passed. But look at this. Look at this. Look how gorgeous that is. Amazing. Tony's boys and I mean, we're going to spend years playing with that. And I really appreciate it. Exactly, Marlene. Jack and Diane, thinking of you. And I'm going to reach out to her. Now that it's a decent time almost in California. But it's so... it's still going on. These California fires are still going on. It's still such a serious situation. There's still so many people in the path of this. So I'm going to check in with Diane and just see how she's doing, make sure she's okay. And I know many of you are in Los Angeles as well. So let us know how you're doing and what's happening where you are as well. Wasn't it gorgeous? I know. I think you can do chess and checkers on it, right? Aren't they the same board? I'm fairly new to chess, but yes. Okay, anyways, we got to hop over now to Scientology up north because we got to talk about in Denmark. In Denmark, Scientology just bought a $26 million building. What are they doing with it? They, of course, are going to turn it into an ideal organization. They're going to get the members to pay for it, to pay for the renovations, tell everybody how if we build it, they will come. Kind of like what's his name in that baseball movie? How'd that work out? That's what they believe. It's what they've been saying for a very long time. And Miriam over at Scientology up north did a little video about it, letting us know what's up. Let's look at a clip.
Created in Copenhagen. Section 2, purpose. The purpose of the association is to function as a church and religious community to extend to man the knowledge of the infinite being and reveal to him what is knowable about God. I have never seen anything like this created in Copenhagen. Section 2, purpose. The purpose of the association is to function.
Now, here's the big lie here. The part about God that Scientologists are going to somehow introduce people to, get them in touch with, show them a way of, is just a blatant outright lie. And I tell you this as a human being who spent 35 years with 3 generations of her family, 4 if you count grandpa dad. Cheers. God, I love green tea in the morning. If you count grandpa dad, 4, but I always count just from my mom because, I'm not trying to be about that mess, even though I am. It's just not a thing. Now in Scientology, they do sometimes do what's called a Sunday service, which they totally do just to try and make them look more like a church. And they do have a prayer, and I say that with air quotes, that they do, but there's no meaning behind it. There's just not. And this was something that even when I was in Scientology, I understood was a public relations activity. We needed to pretend that we were down with God or had a relationship with a higher power to be more acceptable to other people. My relationship with a higher power didn't start until I left Scientology. You're not allowed to do that. Case in point, my mother, before she died, went and got baptized into a Christian church. And reports were written. That was so scandalous when my mother did that. My daughter, Shelby, who was in Clearwater at the time, got pulled into the ethics office and they were like, oh, Shelby, do you know what your grandmother did? And I'm sure my daughter was like, oh my gosh, what could she have done now? Like, what possibly? My grandma is auditing on one of the highest levels in Scientology on their bridge to total freedom. What possibly could she have done? Well, Shelby, your grandma got baptized into a Christian church. To which my Shelby's like, well, wait a minute, though. I thought, aren't we non-denominational? I mean, no, that was not the case. It was totally put to her as it was such an outpoint. It was such a negative, bad thing. How dare my mom do this? It's other practices. That's what it's called in Scientology. It's other fish to fry. That's what they're told on that's what we're told in Scientology. Scientology, in my opinion, in my experience, went out of their way to make sure you didn't have a relationship with a higher power. That higher power can only be Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard, David Miscavige. That is the truth of what's seen in the higher power in Scientology. It was never about God, Allah, whatever you want to call them, a higher power, universal energy, whatever you want to call it, was never part of the equation beyond a label, putting a label on it. But nothing they did worked to increase that relationship or that understanding. It was purely just used to gain acceptance for Scientology. And it didn't even work. That's the funny thing. Office of Special Affairs. It doesn't even work. Nobody's picking up what you're putting down. Nobody is buying this, except maybe Scientologists, some of them. But I know Scientologists that knew full good and well, in fact, made fun of other religions. And I'm going to admit right here and now, I did too. I was one of them. I'm disgusted by my behavior, the things that I thought about other religions and groups when I was in my key Scientology days. But now I recognize that was all done so that we would never reach or be curious or want to understand a higher power or God or anything like that in terms of spirituality outside of Scientology. No matter how many times they say that they're non-denominational and you can be a Christian and be a Scientologist, you can be Jewish and be a Scientologist. It's like, okay, well, technically, I guess you could, but the reality is you cannot go far in Scientology until you make Scientology and Scientology's beliefs your primary belief, and you no longer prioritize your relationship with a higher power or your own spirituality in that way. Your spirituality in Scientology is about trying to do enough Scientology that you don't end up back at an implant station between lives where your memory is wiped and you're just sent right back down. I think like a lot of people know that. I would say most people know that in Scientology, but it's one of those things where they tell an acceptable truth or a short story. That's Scientology code for basically lying. Acceptable truth or a short story. This is what you tell the public in general to make them more acceptable that way, more acceptable. All right, now let's jump over to, oh my God, if you guys haven't seen this, thank you to the person who sent it to me because I didn't see this. Mark Bunker. Girl, Mark Bunker did a video. So apparently, now you guys know Mark Bunker, Xenu TV. Mark Bunker has been exposing Scientology for an incredibly long time. He also was on Clearwater City Council. Well, he's not on the city council anymore. And he's, keeping himself busy. And like a lot of people especially like in Florida and other areas after they're retired, do things to make a little bit of extra money, a way to kind of interact with people, get them out. Mark Bunker is driving for a rideshare company in Clearwater, which means he picks up Scientologists sometimes. Anyways, Wise Beard Man, as he's also known here on the internet, he did a little video about it called Your Driver is Waiting. Listen to this.
Hi, it's Wise Beard Man. I'm a senior, and I'm making a little extra cash by using one of the rideshare apps. And occasionally, I'll get a request from a Scientologist for a ride. And I always accept, and I always am polite. I don't bother them. I don't question Scientology. I don't mention it, except if they mention it to me first. I remember there was one young guy, nice guy, who was telling me all about how the drug rehab program saved him. And I shared my feelings that I was happy that it worked for you. And that was about the extent of it. So yesterday I got a call to pick up somebody at the Fort Harrison Hotel. And normally when I'm picking up a Scientologist, it's not right at the hotel. It's at the Sandcastle, or it's another location, and I'm taking them to the Fort Harrison Hotel. But this one was right there at the front door of the hotel. So I pulled up, and they've got a little part of the curb there in front of the doors where you can pull up vans and cars and load and unload without blocking traffic on the road. So that's what I did. I pulled up right to the front door, and I was looking around to see if my passenger was there. And I was thinking to myself, well, they better hop in fast, or this isn't going to happen. They didn't show up fast, but what they did do was cancel the ride very quickly. It took about a minute of people scrambling around inside to say, oh, you can't get in that suppressive car. So, that's the way it goes. The one pleasure that I take when I do have a Scientologist in the car is knowing that it is a major SP who's driving them, and they're riding in a car with the license plate Xenu TV. So that's the extent of my Scientology involvement with the riders in here. I just thought I'd share that with you.
The license plate. Suppressive car. I mean, just can you imagine? It makes me want to do it. Like, I halfway want to, I could never live in Florida because it's just too damn hot. But it makes me want to move to Clearwater and take up ride sharing and do that. I just love that so much. I know, Anna. No, the license plate. It's so funny. It's just so funny. Itchy Thayton says, oh my God, I love this. I bet he's kind and gives a discount to Sea Org people since they don't make any money. Oh my gosh. It was just the best thing that I have seen in a while. I appreciate it, Mark Bunker. We all need that laugh. Thank you so much. And please keep sharing your stories. Please keep sharing those. Gosh. Okay. We got to go take a quick look at this article that came out that's about Mike Rinder and his dying wish. Office of Special Affairs. I just love that, like, Mike Rinder, who's passed, is still such a big thorn. The Office of Special Affairs, you guys, they have to track every negative piece of press about Scientology or David Miscavige. And Mike Rinder's passing at 69 after cancer is still making news. And now what's being called out is his dying wish. So you've got media outlets putting out Mike Rinder's dying wish, which basically was for people to expose Scientology and to continue doing that as a call to action. And I'm so here for this because I just can't imagine being on the other end, right? Whether you're in the Office of Special Affairs or whatever in Scientology, and you're just being bombarded with articles and obituaries and remembrances and people honoring Mike Rinder, one of the biggest oppressive persons as far as Scientology is concerned, over and over and over again. They got to be losing their mind. I should have asked them when they were on the phone. Let's ask them about that tomorrow. So this one is Scientology whistleblower Mike Rinder's dying wish to fans revealed after death, age 69, following grueling cancer fight. And goes on to talk about his final message posted on his social media blog, dedicated to taking down the religion before he lost his grueling fight against cancer. Rinder 69 sent out a clear message to his followers, supporters, and colleagues before his death on January 5th. He wrote in the blog post, "My only real regret is not having achieved what I said I wanted to ending the abuses of Scientology. If you are in any way fighting to end those abuses, please keep the flag flying. Never give up." The article then goes into kind of like who he was, his history with Scientology and all of that. I will link it down below. It is a good, it's a good article, but mostly a moment of silence for the crap show just falling and befalling Scientology and the Office of Special Affairs. There we go. That's all you get. But yes. They're like hyperventilating over there. I don't doubt. Okay, let's go. We did that one. We're going to look at a Liz Gale clip. Let me catch up on some of these comments, though. Asen says, no contact with Aaron Smith-Levin means he's done something right, does something right. We are going to talk about that. That's coming right up. Liz Gale, I was just catching up on Gude's video. Good morning, all, and aloha. Linda Lou says, put cottage cheese upside down in the fridge. I heard it will keep better. I've never heard that. I will never again eat cottage cheese if the sell-by date / expiration date has passed. I learned my lesson. Yeah. I thought I could beat that one. I was wrong. Justine says, since cult of Scientology is my only point of view, it reminds me of polygamy. That's interesting. Justine, you got to tell me more about that, how it would be that way. Hanley, love the phone call. You're amazing. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, now let's talk about this Liz Gale clip here. Liz, I hope you're still with us here. This is fantastic. Liz Gale went out in front of the new mission in Oregon that opened because they're all like, we have a new mission. They're really pouring the coals on these Scientology missions, creating these ideal missions. Now, I think my speculation, my opinion, is because they know these orgs aren't doing anything and going anywhere. And let's be honest, you can open a 20,000 square foot building and spend all the money renovating it since they're empty. Well, what if you could just open a smaller one, do it on a smaller scale? I don't know what they're thinking. I just know it's not going to work. So check this out. Liz Gale was out there. Let's see what she had to say.
Welcome to Baby Blue, Scientology's newest mission in McMinnville, Oregon. We are standing outside today to let the town know that this is a dangerous cult. I hope you'll tune in next time when I bring signs and maybe outfits.
Yes, I hope she does. I'm here for the signs and the outfits.
What is a mission? Well, a mission is like a baby Scientology franchise. This is what it is. How do I do this? Where am I? Yes. Yeah, this place is hopping. I'm like gradually getting closer and closer. I see no signs of life. None whatsoever. Nothing. I don't even want to touch the door. Welcome to Baby Blue.
So Baby Blue, I love it. It's this tiny little mission there. And Liz says, can we please dub this McMinnville mission Baby Blue because it's tiny. Also, my microphone had the plastic wrapper on it the whole live. Been there, Liz. I have so been there. I love it. Baby Blue. I like it. What do we think in the chat? Throw in some ones if you're liking mini Baby Blue. Baby Blue. I love Baby Blue. I love it. I'm liking it. That's right. Sandy McKenna. It's so fashionable, Liz Gale. Yeah. That jacket. I loved it. Or the vest. Irina says that looks like a laundromat, not an ideal org by any means. Hey, Sue Irwin, aloha to you. Thank you for being here. Eric, good to see you. Yep. Okay. Paralyzed to Paralyze is like, yep, Baby Blue. I'm on board with Baby Blue. Paralyzed to Paralyze is on with Baby Blue. Anna says, love it, Liz. Marilyn says, Liz G is badass and so uber talented. I agree. E.S. Gotcher, do you think they're doing the mission push so they can make up a reason to close some of the big orgs that are dying without Scientologists realizing it's failing? Yes, I do. I do. Because here's the thing, even if you're a hardcore Scientologist and you go into your ideal organization over and over, week after week, year after year, you can see it's not expanding. You can see that it's empty. What then is the problem? Because you were told years before when they were hardcore fundraising for this, that if you build it, they will come. We just need to do this big push. The public knows us by our MEST, which is what L. Ron Hubbard said. And MEST is matter, energy, space, and time, our physical things. So they basically were like, I like to describe it as putting, boobs on a trough, because what is the point? But this is what Scientology is doing with these ideal missions or ideal organizations. They're just making these beautiful buildings like, okay, that's great. It's good to renovate buildings that might have been in disrepair. But to claim that this is an indication of Scientology's success is what is false. Liz Gale, people are all down with calling it Baby Blue. I love it, girl. You got to go out there all the time now. I love it. Tony Hoban says it looked like a no-tell motel. Oh, it did. It so did. Yeah, they like it Baby Blue. Adam's like, how about fake navy blue? Ren listens. What did they do at Baby Blue, Oregon? Well, they're trying to get that Scientology mission going, and it looked like nothing was happening. Mock says, didn't they upgrade certain missions to orgs years ago to fudge the stats? Yes, there were missions, as I understand it from what I recall, that did become orgs, right? That they supposedly became big enough. There is a mission, the Bel Air mission in Florida, over near Clearwater, is a busy mission from what I hear and have even seen in videos. So I don't know how they've stayed out of the fray. Nobody's going to Flag, but apparently some people are going to this Bel Air mission. Ruth O'Hare says, someone needs to turn up with a basket of dirty laundry and act all confused at the lack of washing machines. Okay, Liz says, I'm going to do a whole live about it today to try and understand what the mission deal is and why they're in small town Oregon. I'll protest there a lot in coming days. It's close to my house. Oh, makes me want to come out and see you. That sounds like fun. Liz Gale at Baby Blue. I'm here for it. That's great, Liz. It is weird in small town Oregon. That is a big question. Why? Inquiring minds want to know. I want to know. And Liz Gale is going to find out. So make sure you're subbed and following her. Anna says, Liz, laundry basket with signs about Scientology's dirty laundry. Aloha to you, Bad Thayton. Irina says, Liz, I'm going to join your live as long as it's not during the wee hours for us Eurofolk. Definitely catch it on the replay. Catch it on the replay if you don't catch it on the live. Liz Gale, you've made us all so very happy in bringing this to our attention. I love it. Baby Blue, I'm here for it. Okay, now let's talk about this situation where there is a case in Los Angeles against a young man named Josiah. Like a year or so ago, Josiah had come out and joined some of the protesters at the Hollywood Testing Center when Scientology Audit Streets LA kind of got this whole movement going, joined by Jessica Pomadessa, many others across social media. Well, there was an incident with Patrick Perry off like around the corner And Josiah ended up coming up on some charges, and there's been like a lot of shenanigans around this, and he has been fighting this. And there has also been controversy within the community, given that Josiah at one point turned against Scientology Audit Streets LA and even the protesters. And it is kind of what it is, what it was. But at the end of the day, what's happening is a case that has nothing to do with Scientology beyond he was there to protest and then got into that altercation, is now Scientology seems to be worming their way into it to make it about them. Leave it to Scientology to go into something that really doesn't got much to do with them and make it about them. Let me see how we can make this about us and draw more attention to Scientology in the worst way ever. I know sometimes, okay, Office of Special Affairs, I don't mean this meanly. It just seems like sometimes, and I appreciate it, that the things that you guys do are intentional to end Scientology. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I think that some of you are doing that, and we appreciate it, and we are here for it. We support you in this. You know the hotline number now. You can call me anytime. We can talk things through. But I do think that this is a bit of what's happening, because so many of these shenanigans just don't make any sense. So Josiah goes to court. He's working on this plea deal. And as part of it, they come back with one very strange and odd request as part of it. So let's take a look at a clip here from Growing Up in Scientology and Lara FM. Listen to this.
Admit aggravating factor, right? 2 years formal probation, credit for time served, which was 30 days, restitution with Harvey. I didn't really get that. It's if 1 and 2. Anyways, okay. Stay away from both victims. Patrick Perry being one of the victims, quote, in this, and then Shane, the guy that he assaulted. Or I guess technically assaulted, defending and protecting his friend. So I don't know what that would actually be called. Okay, so stay away from Pat Perry and both victims. Next one is listen to this, guys. Okay. No contact with Aaron Smith-Levin. That's just one of the new things that they added in here. Okay.
Guys, why would it just
admit?
Then Aaron goes on to talk about, like, why would it just be him, not me or other people that he names in the community? It's so weird. It's like, just when it's like Scientology could like not have a little bit of attention on them for something, they throw that out there. Like, people aren't going to ask questions about that. You have somebody, Aaron Smith-Levin, whose channel is Growing Up in Scientology, who lives in Clearwater, Florida. You got Josiah, who is in California, that I'm aware of. I'm not sure the two have ever met, but you need to stay away from them. What is happening here? Now, we know that this happens within Scientology. When any of us have left Scientology, the great big social media outreach begins, and the volunteers that Scientology has come out and are like, hey, I see you're friends with Natalie on Facebook, and she is no longer in good standing with Scientology. You need to unfriend and block her. And they do this over and over and over again. You can't talk to this person. You can't talk to that person. You can't be connected to this person. You can't be connected to that person. Scientology literally makes this a full-time job. They put so many people up to this. They are so overly obsessed with what people do behind closed doors or who they're talking to. Why? Because they have such a big fear of exposure. They know that the people who leave Scientology and are sharing their experiences of abuse, of human rights violations, of human trafficking, they know it's true. They know it happened. So now they're trying to actually use the courts to enforce some type of bizarre, weird disconnection. If they do this and it moves forward, is this somehow the new norm? Are they going to do this in other cases? And do they not realize how it makes Scientology look? You look like the crazy ones here. Why are you telling a young kid? He's a grown man, but to me, anyone under 35 is a kid because I'm in my 50s and I could be their mother. Who he can and he can't talk to? What's up with that? The people who claim that they have the secret to communication, we're going to tell this kid who he can and he can't talk to. It's weird. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. It's me. I don't know that they were going with a no contact order, but I don't know. All I know is what you guys know. And from what we just saw, from what Lara FM saw, that's all I know. But I don't know. We can sure as heck speculate about it. Because it's just bizarre, right? Isn't it weird? It's the weirdest thing to do. It really is. It's so going to backfire on them. I mean, I can't wait till hopefully media picks this up if they push this through. Like, what does this have to do with not speaking to some dude in Florida? It's weird, but let's be honest. Thank you, Office of Special Affairs, for making this happen. And shooting yourself in the foot once again. This obsession you have about telling people who they can and can't communicate with, it really does need to stop. This is 2025. We are all free to communicate with whoever we want to communicate with, to make our own choices. We all have a choice here on YouTube to follow one creator, not follow another if we want, change our minds about it. Everybody is free to do that. Everybody is free to talk to whoever they want to talk to, just like they're free to support whoever they want to support. But now to use the legal system to try and enforce disconnection between two people not even connected, it is like, Scientology, your slip is showing. Like, this is bad even for you. I don't get it. Yep, Anna, exactly. Yeah, Osa, stop. Just stop. Girl, just stop. But I got to be honest, I hope they don't, because this is the kind of thing that brings them down. This is the kind of action that is of a culty behavior, a culty nature, that exposes them to the world because it's so insane. And it also shows you how entitled Scientology thinks they are. They are so entitled to tell all of us who we can and cannot talk to, who we should or should not be friends with. It's so entitled. And now they're trying to do it here through this court case. I just cannot with them. It's too much. Ren listens, exactly. So out of touch. It is very out of touch. It is bizarre, weird behavior. I don't care who you ask. People are like, this just makes no sense. This is just really, really weird. It is. Yep, Itchy Thetans. Cults be culty. I always say cults be cultin'. That's what cults do. So, of course, I know you'd be like, Natalie, should you really be surprised that Scientology would do this? Yes, it still continues to surprise me, because I think at some point, like, I don't know, are you just getting rid of people in the Office of Special Affairs when they say, hey, yeah, Dave, I don't know, man. It just seems like going and telling a kid in court in a case that we're really not supposed to be involved in, who he can talk to, and then calling specifically out Aaron Smith-Levin and not talk to him. Like, that's not going to raise eyebrows. Like, the rest of us aren't going to just be here, like, with the popcorn now. Like, what is way to bring attention back to yourselves. Yep, Julia, it is bizarre, and we're all here for it. So thank you for the entertainment, Scientology. Now let's take a look at a clip from a video. Scientology Audit Streets LA, William Gude did a video where it sounds like he's trying to breathe some life back into the Los Angeles protest movement. Protests as a whole, there have been people come and go, because you know what? People got lives. They can do it now. Maybe they're not doing it now. Anything anybody has done to expose Scientology, regardless of what your medium has been, it could be protesting. It could be just liking these videos. It could be calling into organizations, trying to get the word out through the news, whatever it is. Thank you. Thank you all for doing that. And if your life circumstance changed where you just decided you weren't going to do it anymore, or you needed to take a break, whatever your reasons, that's completely fine. Still, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know that song? Was that 10,000 Maniacs or Natalie Merchant? Don Gloves would know. Thank you. But he shares some good stuff here. Let's take a look at a clip from this, and then we'll talk about it. And I'll link it down below so you can see his whole video.
You want to rebuild this community, and it can. The underlying facts and data about Church of Scientology is Church of Scientology is getting smaller by the day. The only thing that can stop them from shrinking is if we get in the way. We make them look like the victims, that we're the crazy people, that they're the sane people. So don't give it to them. It's not hard. Just inform the public and have a good time doing it and bring people in. That's not a hard thing to do. You got Kathy, my mod. She knows. She's been there since the test center and how fun it was and how people want to be involved. You want to rebuild this community.
So it definitely, like he's talking about inclusion, try to make it as inclusive as possible. You want to welcome people if you're out there who might just show up to help out. And I remember that from the early days of the testing center. Now there'd be on occasion where people were like, plant. And that turned out not to be true. And sometimes it did. And that's just the nature of the beast when you're exposing a human trafficking cult. Stuff like that's going to happen. At the end of the day, everybody's out there live streaming. It's all out in the open. What really is a plant or somebody else going to find out about? It's all out there and open, and making it inclusive and welcoming people to the community, I think, is really important, because we don't want to become the thing that we are fighting against. Scientology is a human trafficking cult. Scientology commits human rights abuses. Scientology breaks up families. Scientology tries to control who you talk to, who you support, and they use threats and intimidation and coercion to do it. We don't want to become that. So I really appreciated Street's message of inclusion and in welcoming people. And that's something that I try to do with the Aloha ambassadors. I like to call them Aloha ambassadors more than moderators here on my channel, is create an environment that's welcoming. Let's have a conversation about Scientology, about exposing Scientology and the different ways that's being done across the internet and beyond. And wherever you are, whatever city you are in, if you decide you want to go out and live stream and protest Scientology, that's awesome. And if you have, content that you want shared about that, you can always email me, Natalie at lifeafteraccult.com. Or if you're a viewer and you're watching somebody and you're like, wow, look what this channel's doing. I want to give them a shout out. I think it's great. Email me, Natalie at lifeafteraccult.com. I have never stopped covering the different protests. They're happening. They've happened all over the world. There's barely been a day that I've done a live stream in the little over a year that I've been here on YouTube where I've not talked about it to some degree, but they're happening everywhere. It isn't just Los Angeles. Club Brain Fog is out in San Francisco, Kansas City, so many areas. We just got done talking about Scientology up north in Denmark and what she's doing. Liz Gale is out there in Oregon doing what she's doing. Different people doing different things. Some people are doing videos, some are out there at orgs. You got people like Mona Fat Grammy doing a lot behind the scenes, putting together that survey and information to show how damaging Scientology actually is to people. You got Audit LA, who's showing up to city council in different meetings and exposing them and their lack of ADA compliance with those planters and all that ridiculousness. But at the end of the day, the fact that the way, in my opinion, and I agree with what William Gude said there, is making it friendly and inclusive, trying to make it family friendly when you can. Sometimes things will get heated, but for the most part, it just seems to come down to, can we show a bit more kindness and acceptance and maybe even forgiveness than Scientology does? Can we not act like Scientology and try to break up friendships, relationships, sticking our nose in other people's business where it just doesn't belong? Can we focus on exposing Scientology? And it's okay to focus on other things. You get to do that. But when you're here, I know on my channel, I'm going to continue covering the ways that people expose and protest Scientology. I think it blows my mind as somebody who's still recovering from Scientology. It really warms my heart, and I found it to be very powerful. As a former Scientologist, I've protested at, I think, 4 or 5 different Scientology orgs now. And each time I've done it, I've found it to be so freeing in so many ways. Also gave me nightmares, but I think that's just part of it. We're all working through it, and we're all working through it as these perfectly imperfect people. I like what Liz Gale says. It's messy. We can be messy. But I think if we can lead by example and the way that we show up, and even if things kind of get heated, can we take a step back, take a deep breath and go, okay, is this behavior, is this what's happening going to move the needle forward in terms of exposing Scientology? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But you guys also get to choose. You get to decide who you support, who you don't support. It's totally your choice. And I'm not going to tell you who to support, who not to support, because I don't want to be like Scientology. I make my own choices. You get to make your own choices. And if you're familiar with my channel, if you watch my content with any regularity, you'll know that since day one, I've done exactly what I said I would do and exactly what I said I'm doing here on YouTube. And that is exposing Scientology as much as I possibly can, healing for myself, healing for others, trying to share the voices of other former members and even other cults, exposing cults in general. Because the more we learn about one cult, the more we learn about another cult, the more I feel like it helps us understand cults in general and how to stay clear. It helps with our healing, but also with staying clear. Hey, Rabbit, did I see you there? Go zooming by. Welcome, welcome. Professor Furberger, great insight into the current protest situation. Thank you. Patroness Glow. Thank you for being a member for 8 months. Much love, Natalie. Much love to you as well. I appreciate that. Hey, Kellycopter. Did I see her go flying by too? Good to see you. Hey, there you are down the rabbit hole news. Thank you for the super. You look amazing, Nat. I appreciate that because right now I'm like, I need to wash my hair, but I didn't today because I'm going to get a facial this afternoon. Somebody got me a gift card like last year and I never used it. And I'm like, okay, I got to start getting back into my self-care more too. And I'm going to do that. Jamie says, yes, the interview you had okay, now I say Jehovah's wrong. I've been saying Jehovah. It's Jehovah, right? And now, am I saying it wrong now? See, English is my first language, but I grew up in Hawaii where everything uses the Hawaiian vowels, the street names, so many things. So sometimes I want to say in English, it's A-E-I-O-U. In Hawaiian, it's A-E-I-O-U. So I want to say Jehovah, but it's Jehovah, right? Jehovah. Working on that. Anyways, yes, that was great. And he's coming back next week. We're going to talk to Jake. We're going to sit down and continue the conversation because we just couldn't get to all the questions. And I think people from these other cults too, and bringing in their experience helps us all understand. And they have, in leaving, some of their organizations harass more than others, or like the JWs will practice shunning. But I really feel like Scientology takes the cake when it comes to trying to destroy relationships. Lisa, girl, thank you for being a member for 10 months. I so appreciate that. You always bring a level-headed approach. Appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. Carla's loving wife. If done correctly, protesting is a form of self-care. I agree. I would agree with that. Does it matter to you? Not to me. As an adult that left the cult, I have learned to make my own decisions. I left a cult and will not join another. My choice of who I watch and who I support. Yes, exactly. Jehovah, not Jehovah. I want to say Jehovah so bad. Thank you for that. You tell me enough and I'll remember eventually. I got to say it a ton. Just doesn't sound right. Jamie, yes, we're going to talk about some Nexium. We've talked about it a little bit. Jehovah, it comes from Jewish. Oh, regulator. Okay, I did not know that. Thank you. Vintage Mama of 3, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that. All right, so Nancy's saying don't say the H. I will practice this. I'll get Jake to tell me. Some of you say it wrong too. Wooly, thank you for being a member for 9 months. Jehovah, or just call them JWs. Yeah, I'm going with JWs until I can get it straight there. But I think you guys kind of get the point, right? You can, and here's the other thing. If you want to see more of a certain type of content, watch it, like the video, comment, share it. If there's content that you find, and if you find it upsetting, don't expose yourself to it. If you're getting upset by it, sometimes we got to, even when it comes to videos, sometimes we talk about difficult subjects like SA. You got to take a step back. We try to do trigger warnings. You got to protect your own mental health. It's the same thing here. Even though many of you never in Scientology, but all in on ending this cult, may not have been in Scientology, but a lot of this can be triggering for you too. So maybe I just think, I know for me, to protect my mental health and my well-being, I tend to expose myself to the things that make me happy, that don't make me feel gross and icky, because I get enough of that covering Scientology and cults, because it is gross and icky. So we can do that and talk about it and expose it and still build a community around it, is what I believe. And I know on my channel is the only thing I can control. I have no control over anything else on the internet, anyone else on the internet, just on my channel. So if you guys are here for exposing Scientology and other cults, then hit the like, hit the subscribe, keep showing back up, because as I've said from day one, that's what I'm going to do, and I'm continuing to do it. And I think there are some amazing people and creators and protesters and people commenting out there. So many of you on the chat that are doing the same thing. And I appreciate it so much. Cassie, thank you for being a member for 8 months. Thank you for always being level-headed. You're a calmness in the storm. I appreciated that. I appreciate that. I think I needed to take a step back yesterday. I was just physically exhausted too, and remind myself of why even I do this. There, because I do, you guys know, I don't follow a lot of, like I said, I try to follow this myself, expose myself to the content that helps me on my channel and helps my recovery in Scientology. So there's a lot I don't look at or see, but sometimes people like to send me information and stuff about it. And I appreciate you. You don't ever have to stand up for me or anything like that. I appreciate that you do. It's so kind. Those things don't get to me that way, because I know where it's coming from. And I'm a big girl. I'm a 54-year-old woman. I've been around for a while. And I escaped a human trafficking cult with 3 generations in my family after putting up with 35 years of abuse. If I can do that and still show up and go through what I've gone through the last couple of years with my own loss between my dad and my Tony, and still show up here almost every day, pleasantly, trying to be kind and spread aloha, I think other people can too. Because we don't get to use our trauma and pain as a weapon to hurt other people. Trust me, sometimes I would like to too. But I know I don't want to go back to being a Scientologist. I don't want to go back to that Sea Org point of view or way of operating. So I guess I'm just saying that is what I'm going to keep on doing. And I hope you guys are here for it. Support who you want to support. Don't support who you don't want to support. That is totally up to you. All I care about is how you behave when you're here in this chat. If you bring the aloha and you are kind to each other and you want to email me stuff exposing Scientology, please do. I consider you a part of my community that way. Anything outside of that, I'm just not interested in. You can email me, doesn't mean I'm going to read it. You can ask questions that sound like a question, but they're really an accusation. Doesn't mean I'm going to answer it. But for those of you that want to have fun exposing cults and healing and getting on with it, this is your community. I am here for you. And I think all of you are here for me too. Fuzzy Pink handcuffs. Do what would Natalie do? That's a bit much. I'm a hot mess. Like, I'm not any perfect example by any means, you guys. I am what they call a work in progress. I appreciate you so much, all of you. Please hit that like, hit that subscribe, set that notification bell to all. Tomorrow, I'm going to do a recap on Saturday at 11 a.m. And then right at 1 p.m., I'm doing an interview with a former Scientologist who was on staff. She was never in the Sea organization. She was recruited as an adult. And for the first time, she's going to be sharing her story. So we can bring the aloha, bring the support for her. That's going to be 1 p.m. on Saturday. If you can't catch it live, please catch it on the replay, you guys. Thank you for being here. And most of all, What would Natalie do bracelets merch? That just sounds like too much pressure. I don't want to be held up as an example like that. I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, no, because Natalie does some messed up stuff sometimes. I'm just like, trust me on that. Work in progress. Maybe like what would be the Aloha thing to do or something like that. I don't know, but definitely not me. But I'm super excited about that interview tomorrow and a couple more I got coming up next week as well. So I hope to see you guys there. Thank you for being here. And most of all, on this Aloha Friday, get out there and have an amazing cult-free day.